grasping, much holding. Rather, fairly the things are fairly now abandoning. So you become less and less prone to too much suffering. On the other hand, grasping. So that the abandoning part is also now, time to time, you may start realizing. And once it is abandoned, you might understand, okay, now mind is relaxed, calm, and the taste of freedom may be little available. That is the third noble truth. So you, once a while, you might feel, okay, now mind is relaxed, calm, no grasping, no burning, no any restlessness, no agitation, quite relaxed. A kind of a peace is there. A taste of freedom is something you can even taste to some extent. So the whole path is what we are developing. So that is the Noble Eightfold Path. The last one is what we are developing. So even though we are working on the 5 aggregates, so it doesn't limit to the dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. Naturally, as we are moving forward, it will take to the second, to the third, and to the fourth. So they are very much connected to each other.
Thank you, Bhante. Yep. The number 2 question, Bhante. Venerable Bhante, my posture is sitting meditation. Primary object is Anapanasati. I experience good focus during walking meditation and can feel my feet touching the floor. I would like you to explain how to maintain balanced posture during sitting meditation, as I feel sometimes I am not in a balanced state. I try to keep my hands on my knees to maintain balance, instead of keeping left hand on my right hand. Thank you.
Actually, with time, you may start learning it or being familiar with it, because sometimes the body is just not giving enough support at the beginning, because we are not used to this posture. The cross-leg posture is not that what we are familiar with. Therefore, there may be some initial issues. But as you are getting familiar with it, as you are continuously doing a practice, then body get used to it. Body start knowing that posture. You become familiar with it, and then it would be much easier. And on the other hand, if you can employ a certain amount of, say, yoga exercises or any other type of exercises, that also you can do mindfully, then you can include that also to the practice. So that also would help, some sort of, yoga postures and all. Probably you can try that. So that also helps, because rather than immediately coming and sit, so you can again do a fair amount of walking. That's another area. Spend some time in walking, natural way of walking, and then after the walk, you can come and sit. That's also fairly energetic. Your body become fairly balanced, because we need certain amount of quite active body. So sometimes what happens is, when we are continuously sitting, the body become fairly inactive and numb. That is quite in a way lethargic. It will take us to the kind of a lethargic state of mind. So rather than allowing that, we can make the body quite active. The blood circulation is quite good, well. Then the whole thing happens smoothly. So for example, if you are doing some morning exercises, yoga or something, then after that, try to sit. Then naturally you can understand, okay, mind easily calms down, relax. So these things you can experiment and see. So therefore, there may be issues with your posture at the beginning, but with time it will be sorted out.
Thank you, Bhante. Yep. The question number 3, dear Bhante, during walking and sitting, I experience some small periods where the mind is not attached to any object. Even the vibrations seem to be away for a while. However, mind gets a fear of losing this state. And due to this, I guess, vibrations start again. It is unclear how to pass time in this state. Appreciate if you could kindly give an advice to prolong the state of unattached mind.
Yeah, actually, that very sort of uncertain that I'm going to lose it, I'm going to lose it. That itself can, that it can be a hindrance. So rather than that, you even have to let go of that. So the natural unattached state of mind become a more available thing to you then. So actually the practice leads us always to that. Now if you refer Satipatthana Sutta, again and again, there are various, altogether there are 21 meditative exercises included there. So each and every one leads to that unattached state of mind. So continuity of your practice ultimately will take you. You don't have to do anything. It's a matter of practicing. Whatever the Satipatthana you have selected, so if you are doing it well, it will lead you. It will lead to the unattached state of mind, non-grasping state of mind. But now what happened is you have attached to that non-grasping state. You're trying to grasp non-grasping state. That is also another hindrance in a way. So rather than doing that, just let it go. Just abandon it. Then naturally you will be there. So once you reach there, I mean, even if you are making any kind of a struggle to make it, keep it, to prolong it, so that will makes the thing worse. Other than that, you just relax there. Once you arrive, just relax, do nothing, just be. So we are, in a way, we are learning how to let things happen and step back and maintaining a kind of a free state of mind. So therefore, at the beginning it may be a little difficult, but slowly you'll understand how to maintain that art. It's a kind of a art in a way. So beginning it appear like we are doing something to arrive there, but more and more once you are familiar with it and you are able to smoothly reach that state, then you can simply be there. We need to just be there. So if we start to struggle with it and then try to do something, then that is not the correct thing, because doing something is opposite to the being. Probably you have heard about the kind of a phrase nowadays available. So we are transferring from doing to being. So we are very much like used to do many things. We want to do something. I want to do something. Why don't you do something? So let's do it. So at the beginning in meditation also we have to develop mindfulness. We have to establish mindfulness. We have to prepare a fair amount of concentration. That is also a kind of doing, true. And again, using that mindfulness, concentration, we have to investigate. That's also another kind of doing, true. But as we continue to do that, so slowly, once the mind has abandoned things, so then it starts letting go things, and now it starts relaxing, not doing anything, unattached with things. Now we are shifting to the other side. Now you need to be, not do, just be. Therefore, learn that. I mean, with time you will learn that. So I don't think this is going to be a huge issue, but you have tasted it, but now we are a little attached to it. But just a matter of continuing a practice, then it won't become a huge thing. You can definitely arrive there.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhante. Yeah. What you're saying is be a human being, not a human doing.
Exactly.
Or not a human going.
We all are human doings.
Human doings. Be a human being, that's what you're saying. Or rather, not to expect, but to accept.
Correct.
Thank you. I couldn't resist. Thank you. This is the fourth question and the last.
Right.
Venerable Bhante, thank you for clear instructions. My concerns are that I find sitting meditation difficult as my legs feel restless. I am better with walking meditation as long as I follow the lifting, moving, placing and labeling. Mm-hmm. My question is, will it be possible to question my mind? Will it be possible to quieten my mind in the latter? Just
In the letter.
read it again. I think it's I think definitely the last word is latter, L-A-T-T-E-R. I follow the lifting, moving, placing, labeling. My question is, will it be possible to quieten mind, that is the
Later, in the later time.
my mind in the latter?
Yes, definitely. So at the beginning, it seems like your mind is talking too much, inner chatter is maybe significant, but with time it will quiet down. So actually, if we start directly confronting the mind right now, it's not going to work, because still you have a lot of hindrances working in the mind. So direct looking at the mind won't be much successful. But your duty is to take your attention to the body. So here we are developing Kaya Anupassana. So as much as possible, we are developing the body awareness, being with ourselves, again and again coming back to the body as an anchor, body as a refuge. So when you do that, so the inner chatter, this too much talking, say overthinking, become less and less. It becomes weaker and weaker. And you can make a kind of a reminder to the mind. Say, even though the chatting is going on, so your foot is touching the ground, it may be it makes a significant impact. You may feel it. It's a fairly gross sensation. So once it is there, so it's a kind of a reminder to your mind to, okay, come back here now. Just be here. Come back here. So you have to be here. So it's very much like recalling, reminding the mind, because mind has again jumped, it's wandering, things are going on, but now the foot hits the ground. It's a reminder to the mind to, okay, come back here, just be here. Again, another step, again it hits the floor. It's another reminder for the mind to come back here. So again and again we are interrupting this ongoing say inner chatter or overthinking. So once we are doing again and again that interruption, so it becomes weaker and weaker. But on the other hand, our process, that the bodily process becomes stronger and stronger. The body awareness becomes stronger and stronger. That is where we need to be. That is our experience, our necessary selected experience become much and much attention. More and more attention. So then ultimately you may understand, okay, mind has fairly calmed down, no thinking now, fairly quietened. And even if there is inner chatter, it's very much like gone to the background, and you are with the body, fully with the walking process that you may experience. And with time, actually, you can even understand, okay, now even the thinking has completely stopped. There is no even background inner chatting. There is no any thinking at all. Even that may be possible with time. Not immediately, but with time. So therefore, it's true that we understand, okay, there is inner chatting, too much thinking, distractions, many things are there, but our concern is not that it be there, but we are now developing fair amount of body awareness. It will take care of weakening the chatting process, the overthinking process, proliferation process, and we will come back and be with the body. So that's a kind of a strategy we are using. And as you are doing, you can use that mental noting, say left, right, or lifting, moving, pacing, like that, whatever the convenient way that you can do the noting, labeling part, that will be quite helpful. Later, you can even drop that once you are getting some confidence. So those are the questions we received.
Those are the questions, Bhante. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are we open for the...
Sure, yeah. We have some time.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there are any questions that anyone would like to raise, impromptu, you have the opportunity now. Is there another mic?
Probably we can pass it
yes,
if there is.
And also, if there is, are there these can be Zoom?
Suranga. Are there any questions, Suranga, in the Zoom? Not yet. Okay, fine. No questions. That's good.
I think you answered the first question must have worked. How to realize First Noble
Truth, yes.
Can I please add something to that?
Sure, yeah.
One thing I remember from Mahamalukya Sutta. in 164, that he asked the Buddhas the same question. How to Buddha asked the question first. I'm just trying to remember, it's a thing we call it. That here Buddha asked, what are the first five fetters?
Correct.
And then he answers, see man.
That even a young guy, the kid, can become an arahant, right? Yes.
And then later Buddha says, actually discourse to Ananda. And he says, Ananda, there is one path. And he says, what the path is, to break the five fetters. And then it is in there, I think, because first noble truth is the breaking the first three fetters, isn't it? But I think but your answer is the right path. Is the breaking, that is, you understand the five brigades. That is the Kandopadi. And Buddha says, to break the three fetters, Jhana. I know this is the controversial here. I'm just throwing something to the hornet's nest. I know these are the... But I thought it's good to share. But I think it's in conjunction with Bante's answer. Please read Amendment 64. That's my comment on that.
So actually the point is, when that question asked by the Buddha, so what is the path to abandon five first fetters?
Five lower fetters.
Yeah, lower fetters. That's the Oram Bhagya Samyojana. So simply the Malukiputta answers giving a simple answer. But Buddha was emphasizing about the Anusaya part. So the simile given is quite interesting. So now if we can say a little kid, so he doesn't have a huge amount of a personality, eye-making, mind-making, that kind of a sakkaya is not yet even aroused in him. Really, there is no much of rituals or any observances that he is familiar with. And again, there is no much doubt about him. Then, in a way, one could say, and again, there is no much desires in him, and there is no much anger. He may be very, very happy, peaceful sometimes. So then one can argue, okay, even a little infant is free from the five lower fetters. That's why the Buddha's argument. So then Buddha highlights, okay, the point is with respect to the anusayas, the latent tendencies are there even in an infant. So that has to be abandoned. So the anusaya part is something that we have to be concerned with. That's why we need a fair amount of investigation into phenomena, recognizing these latent tendencies, always working in the mind. That's why a fair amount of practice is required. Actually, different answers are there, different approaches are there. I can't simply say that we need to, it's a must to try Jhana, that's going to one extreme. But going through Jhana is one approach, but other approaches are also available. We'll see in our Dhamma sermons what are the possibilities available. And I try to look at what are the possibilities that Buddha give in various discussions, what are the possibilities that Buddha is explaining. But anyway, I mean, we can't simply say that not currently not having anger, currently not having lust, currently not having any kind of a doubt does not guarantee that we are free from the lower fetters. They can arise in the future. That's why even an infant, that he will build his personality. He will become a person with a lot of personality, a lot of ego, and some kind of such kind of thing in the future. So that seed is in him, that potential is in him. So that's why we have to take care of that seed, that potential. So that potential has to be abandoned. Then only we are sure, okay, even in the future, there won't be any sakkaya ditthi, there won't be any kind of a personality view, because even the potential has taken out. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Lot of time.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Bhante, in Vipassana meditation, first one, get rid of this answer. Is it like when they are in the unattached state of mind and something happens, some disturbance comes up, and you keep observing that mind, and is that the process to get rid of these kind of hidden
tendencies? So there are, not just one method would describe to abandon anusaya. So one method is, of course, the satipatthana practice. So anusaya pahana, the abandoning of anusaya, is very much like you are maintaining a fairly undefiled state of mind, unattached state of mind, free state of mind, so that the rising of whatever a little defilement is obvious, quite evident, because you are in a very clean, clear environment. So that immediately you can notice when a defilement is arising. That's why very much like arriving that state, unattached state of mind, is kind of a bottom line of our practice. So we have to arrive that, we are dwelling there, and staying there. So we are very much like associating a very pure state of mind. So even a little trigger of any defilement would be more visible. So as you all know, familiar with that, there are 3 stages we are talking with respect to defilements. So the first thing is the anusaya state, the latent state. Then it will come to the active state, what we call as the pariyutthana state, so which is available right now. You can feel it, you can recognize it. There may be a little burning, a kind of a friction. You can notice it, the pariyutthana state, obsessive state, but sometimes translated. And then with that, if we can't control ourselves, then we are going to the vitikkamana, the transgression state. So even with sila, we can stop the transgression. So we don't need even samadhi or anything to stop the transgression. Even with the sila, the morality, you can stop transgression. But to overcome the obsessive level, the second, the pariyutthana, you can do it even in the samatha meditation. So while you are in a jhana, while you are in any samadhi, so the mind become more peaceful, quiet, still. So all that, say the burning is now not there. Instead, you have a blissful, quiet, a peaceful state of mind. So samadhi is enough even for that. But the anusaya you can't abandon just by mere samadhi. That you need to recognize the defilements, knowing them, knowing their workings. Then only carefully you are working how they are arising, what are the causes, different scenarios. So likewise, it's again and again recognizing them, abandoning it, recognizing them without reinforcing them, just to let go of that. Likewise, you have to again and again work it out. So in a short way, you can abandon the defilements, but it's temporary. It's not complete abandonment, it's a very temporary abandonment. But on the other hand, complete abandonment is happening through the knowledge, through the wisdom. It will take time, definitely. So it's very, very slow process. That's why even Buddha highlights in the second sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, Abbasava Sutta, Jhanato passato asavanam kayam vadana. No ajanato, no apassato. So you have to know, you have to notice it, you have to fully aware of it, you have to see it. Then there's a possibility that you are not reinforcing it, rather you are keeping it away, letting it go. So that's a kind of a tendencies that we have developed to the mind for long samsara. So now they are very much programmed to the mind. So we have to slowly change that program. We have to slowly direct the mind to a different direction. Nowadays, actually, they have found that even through science. So whenever, now what they have found is now biologically, there are various circuits in the brain. So whenever a particular circuit is activated again and again, it becomes hardwired. Now you don't need much to do to activate that. It is already activated. Very much like a kind of a highway. Previously, it is not a highway, it's simply a footpath. With time, it can even be broken or not being available. But again and again, when you are doing it 1,000 times, then it becomes hardwired. So all these these tendencies, defilements are very much like that. So they are quite hardwired. Now, how are you going to close it? That's why it is taking time. The hardwired circuit again has to be taken to a smaller, less reduced, fairly reduced path. Ultimately, it has to be taken to a not used path.
Do you get to know the end?
Definitely, yes. That's another thing. Actually, this question asked from the Buddha that whether once we are practicing the path, is it something that we are fully aware that one day that one can be fully sure that there are not going to happen? Then there's a kind of an answer given, like it will take definitely time, by the way, but it is like an assurance given through various similes. One simile is with respect to the axe. You know, one is using an axe, and his occupation is using the axe and then cutting the trees. So every day he's cutting the trees, every day cutting the trees. And after several years of using the same axe, one day he noticed, okay, this axe handle being completely worn out. I can't use it anymore. It's completely worn out. I need to change the handle. Now the argument is, can you notice how much being worn out during per day? Impossible. So per day you can't assess how much amount of your handle being worn out. But after years of using of it, one day you will notice it. Okay, it is worn out. I can't use it anymore. It's completely worn out. Maybe it's become very lean. It's maybe the grip is not good. So it's so very lean or something, or weak or some way that you will notice thoroughly. It's completely worn out. I need to change it. Same approach that Buddha say, one day you will understand, okay, now they are not operating. Now they are not there. Even all the other triggering factors are available all around. They are not arising. They are not getting activated. Something like that. So likewise, one day you will come to assurance. And another simile is given, like say a person doesn't have a limb. One limb is taken out. So he doesn't need to every time look at it and see, okay, there is no limb, there is no leg being cut out, not leg is available, not leg is available. He doesn't need to. But he's sure that when he wants to, he can see it's not there. So sure. Something like that. So different assurances like that given. But the thing is, often we can go ourselves overestimated also. So there are quite often times that people go, even during the Buddha's time, actually even the monks go and report to the Buddha, I am an arahant now. So then actually some other monks, certain other lay people come and ask Bhante, I mean, there are certain monks come and report to you that they are arahants like that. Among all, are they all really arahants or not arahants? Then Buddha says, some are really arahants, some are not. Some are having very much like an overestimation about themselves. So that those things are possible. That's why, I mean, it's very difficult for someone to give someone else an assurance. Even assuring oneself is quite difficult. So it's a very valid question. So we can overestimate ourselves, thinking now I am an arahant because for a long time I couldn't come across a particular defilement. Now in that simile, so we are again and again, loosening or weakening the defilements. So for a quite long time, a particular defilement didn't come. I probably might overestimate myself, thinking now it is not there. I am now an anagami, something like that. Very difficult, therefore. So that's why it's a kind of a very honest, careful path that we need to develop. Then only we can assure, okay, yes.
Reducing disturbances in that unattached state of mind, is that an indication of reducing human tendencies?
Definitely, yes. Now we'll discuss that actually in the selected sutta in the Dhamma sermon also. Now, assume that our mind often takes sensual objects. Assume that. So we'll take a simple example. Now, say that someone is in love with someone. Now, what happened to the mind? So constantly that the other person gets the imprint in your mind. So very much like again and again remembering that other person. So the other person's image constantly appearing in your mind. Wherever you go, you see him. Wherever you go, we see her. There's a song in Sinhala, Handa Baluwat, Bayamato Be Muhuna Matak Wenawa, like that. So even when I see the moon, so I remember her. So that's the point. So again and again that the image is coming because you are so attached. But if there is no attachment, you might have seen and it has gone. It does not remain in the mind. It does not register in the mind. So the sensual desire, when we have what we call the kama, this raga anusaya or kama ashrava, if the sign, the indication whether we have it can be indicated based on that different kind of images, the mental images, perceptions popping up in your mind is a kind of a result of the availability of anusaya, availability of kama ashrava. But if you don't have it, then they might not pop up. They may say rarely pop up in a way. So even if they pop up, we may not get attached to it. We are not get bounded by that. We simply allow it to go, simply pass away. Something like that. So more we have a particular kama ashrava, that means related resultant thoughts or resultant feelings or resultant images will occupy the mind quite often. But if they are not coming often and mind remains calm, very clean, very clear, spacious for a long, long time, that indicates that asavas are fairly subsided, weakened or something like that. But how are we going to assure it's completely uprooted? That's the difficult task actually. That's the challenging task. So that's why, I mean, even the Bodhisattva has sometimes, now he say, for example, he has gone to the Brahma realms because of the Jhana, and he has gone to the Brahma realm. And after he became again reborn in the human realm, he didn't have any desire. He didn't have any desire for women actually. He don't want to get married. And I heard that prince doesn't want to suck the mother's breast. Doesn't want to. It's difficult to breastfeed. But later, through something, he was allowed to do that. Then he was so attracted to women, something like that. So that's why, I mean, these things, whatever the tendencies in our mind, can be temporarily suppressed, but it is not a complete removal. It's very difficult for one to immediately say, okay, now it is completely uprooted. So it's a kind of an assurance very difficult to give.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
This question. Of course, that Vasijata Sutta you gave
yes.
listening, you can also that there were huge ropes.
Used for the sea.
Used for the ship, for that ship. But in the other sutta, he says that he gives 10 ways of looking at his mind.
Not 10 actually. There's another. Actually, we'll take that. There's a sutta called. That may be another sutta, but there is a particular sutta talking about to know whether you are sotapanna. Sotapanna. That's in the what's that? Kosambiya Sutta.
This one is the shorter sutta. I think 1051.
1051. Okay. I check that.
I think probably that's what you are saying.
Okay, I check 1051.
I think 1051.
Okay.
Sorry, Bhante, there's one question in Zoom.
Right.
Any defilements arising due to just tiredness without bad intention, is that still unwholesome, Bhante, or somewhat reduced defilement?
Reduced defilement.
Yeah, the question, any defilements arising due to just tiredness without bad intention, is that still unwholesome, Bhante, or somewhat reduced defilement?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we call asampajana kaya sankhara, sampajana kaya sankhara, asampajana vachi sankhara, sampajana vachi sankhara, asampajana chitta sankhara, sampajana chitta sankhara. So, I mean, these different formations can happen knowingly, purposely, intentionally, as well as the formations can happen without an intention. On the other hand, the formations can happen because of your own initiation, and it can happen because of someone else's influence. There are suttas talking comprehensively about the formations, how these kind of formations can arise. So, if it has happened without your own intention, then it may not have the karmic impact. So that is the kind of the release we have. So it has happened. It has, say, impromptu it has happened. So you haven't planned it, didn't have an intention, but it has happened. But the point is, if we followed it and reacted, then again we get trapped. So if we simply allow it to naturally fade away, then we have no impact at all in our side. Because due to certain reasons it has arisen, we didn't intentionally prepare it. It has simply happened, but you didn't get trapped to it. You didn't get attached to it. You haven't reacted to it, and you are able to abandon it. So there is no karmic accumulation in that. So no harm in that sense. So the many possibilities are there for the formations to arise. So as I just mentioned, purposely you can arouse them, intentionally you can do it, or impromptu also they can happen. Someone else can influence, and as a result of that, it can happen. Those can happen. Many possibilities are explained. So here I think the answer is better if you know, okay, I didn't have an intention to arouse this kind of say any resistance, any kind of an anger, but because of the situation it now has happened, okay, let it go. I'm not going to get caught with it. That may be the best thing to do. Now say for example, assume that you haven't had a good sleep. The next day, if you haven't had a good sleep and a good rest, a fair possibility is there that you easily get irritated, you easily get angry, even for a small thing. Now, if you are able to notice it, so without reacting to it, probably we can slowly let it go, can be careful about it. Okay, I didn't have a good sleep, there's a possibility that I easily get angry, so you warn about the situation. And then when it is arising, probably you can drop it without get caught to it. The situations can vary the thing. So depending on the situation, the defilements can either happen or not.
Thank you.
Yeah. But knowing the defilements is the key, I think. We need to notice it. We need to know it. Rather than assuring or rather than giving us a certificate. better ready, okay, I am not an Arahant. There may be definitely defilements. Currently, I don't have any anger, I don't have lust, but I am not sure about it. That is much safe. Yeah. No. All right. I think you have to hold the mic like this. Yeah.
You answered, so maybe when you answered this question, you mentioned about circuits.
Circuits, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One feels circuits, and if there are electric shocks like this, that means there is some sort of process after.
Electric shocks you are feeling.
So, I'm going to say, the electric shocks. Electric shock, like so
Burning something. No, I'm just giving, so now biologically they found that. So basically, in a way, this is what called the neuroplasticity. So in the neuroplasticity, that's why through the mindfulness practice, you can change it. So there's a possibility of changing that circuit. So the neurons are not hardwired. Currently, the path may be very much like hardwired, and it's a short-circuited path. But still, there's a possibility to change it. So that's the neuroplasticity. You can change your whatever the brain circuits through the practice. That's a new finding. Now, previously, like several 50 years ago, something. So what scientists believe was, once they are hardwired, the neurons are never going to grow, never going to change. So it is there, permanent. But now it's quite different. So they now accepted. Now they have the potential to change. Neuroplasticity is there. With the practice, you can change the circuit. So, but so I think the point is now Buddha knew this. So that's why he has come up with various, possibilities to expedite the process. Now say, when there is a path available, so if we want to close it, and it also has to happen naturally, so then all the possibilities of using that path has to be avoided. So what he has come up with various practices. Say through Sila, he is trying to do that. And that is one aspect. Then that means then the morality, the sense restraint, the Sangvara Pahatapa. So the restrainment path, so he is using so that you are not using it. And another side is that through your understanding, some knowledge, some intellectual abilities, also you are convincing yourself not to do it. And again, you are convincing yourself, in case it arises, you are not promoting it, you are quickly abandoning it. Vinodana Pahatabba. So if it's arising, then you are not promoting it, you quickly drop it. So Vinodana Pahatabba. So likewise, so Buddha comes up in the Sabbasava Sutta 7 possibilities. So seven scenarios, 7 recipes, for that the process can be expedited. So all 7 is in a way required. We can't say they are, none of them are not useful, all are useful. We may have to use everything. So the more we are making use of them, the path may be expedited. Our progress may be expedited. Now, in a way, you can assume that you are developing the path. One day you forget about the Sila. Then you quickly again jump and again use that, and again you get into it. Now again, that whatever the defilements might re-arise, the path may be again developed. Path in the sense the circuit may be again reassured. Then you have to again work it out. That's the problem. That's why we can discuss even not only Jhana, even a very highly developed Animitta Samadhi, even it's not You can't say a complete guarantee you can't give. Even Arupa Jhana. You can't give any guarantee. Sorry? Spiral. The thing is, slowly we have to never use it. That is also difficult. Point is, you can't go in a straight line. That's also not the path. That's the point highlighted in the Ogatarana Sutta. So there, if you are going to the extreme path, then you're going to kind of a mental breakdown. Like rigorous practice, every time you are not giving so much restrainment, that's also not going to work. Maintain a kind of a balance, equilibrium of the mental balance of the mind. That's why we have to dedicate ourselves. That's why, we all are gathered here and we have prepared all these sophisticated facilities and Buddha's teaching we are taking and the silas we are taking. All these things are necessary because it's something kind of a clinical thing that we are trying to do in a long term. Not an easy thing because this is a very rare opportunity we have in this Buddha Sasana after many years. What we have got as an opportunity. So, because we haven't had this opportunity maybe, or we have ignored even when we had it. So, now when the path is available, the teaching is available, that's why we have to work hard. So the possibility is there. We know the path, but we need to work it out. Yeah. Have something to add? You can use the mic.
Yeah,
you are a good attendant to the Buddha.
Thank you for bringing up the Sambhasa Sutta. And Bhante also did that here for a long time ago. In that sutta, the first one is Dassana Pahatabba, so which you covered briefly. And last one, he packed 5 in between the Sangha and
Adivasana, Patisevana,
and and all that. So, in that, does the Buddha give us a message that do the Dassana first, get rid of the wrong view.
No, on the other hand, he's emphasizing the right way.
Right view.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. So the Dasana Pahatabba, putting it at first, may be having an indication that we have to have a right view. Now, even not only in this sutta, now Buddha say, okay, right view is accompanying at different stages. Now in the Mahachattalisaka, in the Majjhima Nikaya. So when we are developing the higher quality, so the right view has to be always keep aside. So it's always kind of a parivara. It's accompanied. It's always as a companion. You have to have the right view. Say, for example, say you have a desire to practice Samma Vacha, for example. Now, first of all, we need to know what is Miccha Vacha. So, what is the wrong speech? Okay, then we go to the definition of wrong speech. Okay, the Musavada is a wrong speech. Parusa Vacha is a wrong speech. Pisuna Vacha is a wrong speech. Sammappalapa is a wrong speech. That means lies, divisive words, harsh speech, and useless chattering maybe. So this we need to understand. So this is a kind of a primary understanding, a kind of a knowledge we have. What is the Miccha Vacha? Then we should know as a knowledge, okay, what is Samma Vacha? So then we say correct talking of the truth and all that. Okay, this is the Samma Vacha. So now we have to have this understanding as the guiding, as the building block, as the first thing. So this is the kind of a guideline we have. Now we need to implement this guideline. In order to implement, we have to have a certain amount of effort. That is where the Samma Vayama come to the picture. But we have to implement that every day, every time, whenever we are come across it. So we have to have the mindfulness. Samma Sati. So therefore, Samma Sati, Samma Vayama, and Samma Ditti. So they are, in a way, like the 3 stones on our stove. So we have to have these 3 together to work out with Samma Ditti, to work out with Samma Sankappa, to work out with Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva. So all these three are the parivara. All these three are very much like supporting factors. Every time have to be available. Have to have some theoretical understanding about the micca and the samma, and we need to implement it. Have to have a certain amount of effort, and in order to do that, we have to be mindful, fully aware of what's going to happen right now. Now assume that now I have to tell something. Someone is asking a question. Now there maybe I am hungry. Now the possibility is there for micca vacha to come out. So then I should have some effort. Okay, I need to abandon this micca vacha only to use the samma vacha. Have to have some effort. And I can't know that, I can't notice that if I didn't have the mindfulness. The samma sati has to be truly available. And if I am not making an effort, I simply tell it. Because I am not making an effort. Samma vayama is not operating. Samma vayama is there for us to drop micca vacha and implement samma vacha. And the indicator should be the mindfulness. It will tell us, okay, right now this is the situation, this is samma vacha, this is micca vacha. So that awareness should be there. And we have to have the knowledge, okay, this is samma vacha, this is micca vacha, that's a samadhi. So these three are very much like essential components when we are developing the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. Very interesting way actually. Many suttas are there that how Buddha present it to us, isn't it? I mean, we ourselves can't find out all these now. These are different mechanisms and different ways that he is explaining very beautifully. So that's why the opportunity is quite unique, very useful, very important that we have the facility to access the Dhamma, learn the Dhamma, discuss the Dhamma, get some guidance from the Dhamma to our practice.
I remember last year when you came back, you did, I think,
Chunky Sutta.
In conjunction with that, you did Dhatu Vibhanga.
Maybe, yeah.
You touched on that. In that one, Buddha gives those for foundation, Thero, it's not coming there. Foundation is the English translation.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think that in those four you first said, Buddha said,
yeah. There's a different way that Buddha explains it.
Explains it there. So you explained that last year. So I remember it. Same thing in a different way.
Correct. Actually, that's the beauty, that's the talent of the Buddha. How beautifully he has presented in many different ways. Unbelievable. Yeah. So when we are discussing only, we get the taste of that, no? I mean, if we don't know it also, we don't know and we can't taste it even. So when we are analyzing it, we are knowing it, we are trying to practice it, then only we really taste it. So when there's a recipe is there, if we have never cooked according to that recipe, we can't taste it, no? How do we know how tasty it is, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. You have a question? Yeah. So 2:32. We didn't have questions. Now we have questions. Towards the end. Yeah.
I'm going back to ask and answer and making tendencies. And it says, Jhana to Pasato, Asana Ayam no Jhana to no Pasato. So I understand this Jhana means knowledge by reading and listening.
Not merely. At that moment, you have to have some understanding.
And then
Pasato. Or you need to see it at that time. Because we are talking the present moment, particularly. Present moment, assume that there is a defilement happen in your mind at that moment. So, I mean, if you don't know whether it is a defilement, then you may even promote it. So you should have some understanding, okay, this is a defilement, this is something harmful to me, something harmful to the others. So you have to have that understanding. So that is, as you said, it may be a knowledge, jhanato. And again, you need to notice it, the pasato is also there. So we have to work out currently in the present moment.
So that means something that we have to have about these two planets and passages.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment that we can realize that we are seeing the truth about this story.
Mm-hmm.
And my other question is,
That means you need to admit it. You need to admit, okay, currently this tendency is there. Currently there's a defilement. So you are honestly noticing it, knowing it. Now you need to work it out. That's why, I mean, in another way, in a beautiful way that Buddha puts it in the Sutta Nipata, combining mindfulness and wisdom together for this operation. That's a beautiful verse. Right. Yani sotani lokasmin satite sannivarana. Sotanang sangvaram brumi panyayate pitiyare. So Buddha say there are various streams of defilements are flowing. So when they are flowing, yani sotani lokasmin satite sannivarana. So mindfulness is the one basically notice them. They are the sotanang sangvaram brumi. So the establishment of mindfulness is the point that you restrained it. But it's not yet abandoned, not yet completely uprooted. So that is the task of the wisdom. Sotanang sangvaram brumi panyayate pitiyare. Through wisdom you are able to completely dry it out. So it's a function, a joint function between mindfulness and the wisdom. So the mindfulness will show it to you, present it to you. Okay, now there is it. You better notice, you better be aware of it, you be careful with it. Okay, the wisdom has to decide, okay, how to operate with it. What is the technique that I am going to use for that? What is the technique to abandon it? Different techniques are mentioned by the Buddha to abandon it. So if you already have a fair amount of mindfulness, even that very, very notice would be enough to abandon it. Because at the very initial stage, you are able to notice it. That very notice would be enough for that defilement to let go. But say you don't have that much of mindfulness, then you notice it only when it comes to a certain level. Then probably you have to work hard, come up with another solution to abandon it. Because it has come to some level, then you have to put it down, weaken it, slowly, abandon it. Something further to work out. Say anger is there, but now you are working with maybe loving kindness and understanding what the good that he has done to me. Many methods are necessary to slowly abandon the anger. But if you have developed fair amount of mindfulness, that anger, the very first thought may be able to catch, that knowing that may be enough to flip it.
That's really of the handle of the tree. Once it is gone, complete knowledge, the person will be happy. So that means it is gradual path. So how do we know that our defilement, or as with answer and asana, is gone to a certain extent? That we can realize that answer and answer is gone or not gone.
So we will discuss in the Dhamma server. Because there's a burning question. So because last time also I discussed this to some extent we were using the Kosambi Sutta. So how one can be assured that I am a Sotapanna now? So that is what you all are asking.
But I don't understand the difference. I think but I know not to do different ways. So what is the difference of asana and answer?
So I also have the same kind of a little, blur areas, because there are many overlappings. So in that, those two types. Say the typical understanding is that the anusaya is the latent tendency, it's there, it's hidden, something like that. So the idea is like that. But the asava, the point so when a particular pattern is operated for a long time, it becomes kind of a inherent quality of the mind. Exactly. That's the asava term. The fermentation is the the real translation of the asava. That's why, so the fermentation, as a result of the fermentation, even though the object is taken out, still the pattern remains. Pattern remains. So mind still operates as it is, as it was there. But it is not there, by the way. Currently it doesn't have it. But since it has associated again and again million times, even the object is taken out, the pattern is very much like inculcated there. Yeah, it's deeply rooted there, engraved there. Smell is there. Yes, yes. So, exactly. Then only to the remaining part will be abandoned. Yeah. What? Can we have what? Can we have summary of? No, I see either to include it to the Dhamma sermon or to discuss it. Yeah, we'll see. Because the point, the Dhamma sermon theme what I have selected is somewhat related to the advanced practice, where talking about the emptiness and the signless concentration and all that. But I will start from the beginning. But talking of something more useful for the say good some good practitioners, in the sense not just for the beginners. So the taken suttas are not merely for beginners. Therefore, fairly high stuff we can cover during the Dhamma sermons also. So I see that I didn't have an idea to include the Kosambi Sutta there. I can try to include that also. Okay. Okay, I think we have spent even 10 minutes more than the allocated time. Then we will stop here. Something to be discussed during the next coming 4 days. Then we will stop the session here now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu.